Oh my god, Godzilla versus Kong. I can't wait. The trailer I've seen probably in the double digits at least. And here's the funny thing. I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan. I'm not the biggest King Kong fan. But something about this movie calls to me and I can't wait to see it. I got my HBO Max. Good to go there. Just waiting for the release. And how rude of me, how are you feeling? You got John Riggs here, let me tip my hat to you one time. I run a channel all about retro gaming nostalgia. I appreciate the fact that you're here with me right now. This video is sponsored and brought to you by the good people of Patreon. Only because I don't have a sponsor on this video, but I have several patrons I guess, who keep this channel afloat and keep this channel alive, so thank you so much. Now, gotta talk about Godzilla versus Kong. So I was thinking about it, and you have Godzilla, you have Kong. I have a bunch of friends who are Godzilla fans. I don't know if I have any friends who are pro King Kong. The way they're making the trailer out, it looks like King Kong is kind of the good guy, but you know there's something going on with Godzilla to make you like, why will you have an emotional attachment to Godzilla later on? I bet there's something going on that we don't know yet. They teased it a little bit in the trailer. But never mind the movie, this channel's all about retro gaming nostalgia. So I wanted to look at all the great Godzilla games and all the great King Kong games. And when I say great, I mean a couple of them are pretty good. And there's a couple of them, well, you'll find out later in this video. Not just NES this time, I'm looking at Godzilla and King Kong games for Nintendo, for Game Boy Color, for Game Boy Advance, as well as the Super Nintendo. And we're going to compare and contrast Godzilla versus Kong on those four systems, and we'll see who the real winner is up in this, you know what I'm saying? So we start with Godzilla for the NES, personal favorite of mine. And when I say personal favorite, I mean, I liked it a lot. I had this game, I've played through it several times. Kind of want to play through it again, but man, is it monotonous. It's kind of the same levels every time they have to work through. You got a little rabbit punch, you got a kind of a lower base kick, and then you have your tail whip. And basically you just kind of slide through with the tail whip the entire time. Your start button gives you that radiation blast, that helps you out, and then charges back up, you do it again. And you got to defeat the monsters in every world, and then go to the very end and move on to the next world. Now the stages themselves, pretty boring, pretty flat, pretty basic. The boss battles though are cool, well at least they look cool. They're all kind of the same. You just attack and keep attacking, hopefully spam them in a corner and until you're the victor. And then when you're victory, yay, then they're gone from that stage and you move on from there and you can go to the next world and all that. And yeah, you can play as Mothra, not that you need to, maybe not even want to, I don't know, but Mothra is available in this game too. Godzilla for the NES. I like it, I recommend it, great graphics. Kind of boring, kind of monotonous, like I said, but not really boring. I shouldn't say boring, it's just kind of the same thing over and over and over again. Now what about Kong though? Now we have Donkey Kong, right? And I was thinking about Donkey Kong, but we don't really play as Kong. I'm looking for the games where you play as Kong. So, you know, Donkey Kong, not really. Donkey Kong Jr., you can make the argument that Donkey Kong Jr. becomes Donkey Kong because they say Cranky Kong was the original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Country is the son of Cranky Kong, which makes Donkey Kong Jr. Donkey Kong in the Donkey Kong Country series. Well, you know, you can follow that, I suppose, but I'm going to go ahead and disregard that, at least for this video. Now, what about Donkey Kong 3, though? Now, Donkey Kong 3 gets the shaft. I mean, quite literally. Again, you don't play as Donkey Kong, you play as, like, Mario's cousin Stanley or something like that. And how would you feel to be Donkey Kong during this time? You had Donkey Kong, one of the biggest games of all time with Donkey Kong, and then Mario's in there too. And then you have Mario Brothers, great game, Super Mario Brothers, all the way up to Mario Odyssey, Mario with this huge legacy. You have Donkey Kong, which was the name of the game, and then Donkey Kong Jr., and then Donkey Kong 3. Well, I mean, the Retribution maybe came back with the Game Boy series, the Donkey Kong games. Those are absolutely fun, fantastic games. And then moving on, of course, to Donkey Kong Country and the legacy that's created too. So, I don't know. I mean, it's like, here's Mario. It's like, I'm going to steal the spotlight and, well, I don't know. That might be another video for another time. So though we don't have a Kong game in America, in Japan there is King Kong 2. King Kong 2 in Japan only. It's a Japanese exclusive. It's based on an American exclusive film that you can watch right now on YouTube. It's absolutely free. About something like King Kong with a robotic heart trying to find his son? Sure. And this game, yo, it's actually pretty decent. It's made by Konami, so it has that cool Konami sound, the cool Konami graphics. You can punch, you can pick up all these rocks, you can also use as weapons. Rocks are basically like bombs in this game. I mean, the stages, the levels, kind of maze-like. You don't really know where you're supposed to go, really. I like the fact that you can, like, you know, attack these kind of stationary objects in the airfield and all that. But King Kong 2, a very good game. If you haven't played it for the Famicom, I might recommend checking it out. So for these two games, for nostalgia's sake, I gotta go with Godzilla. King Kong 2 is great. It's really fun, but still a little confusing. So given the option of the two, and I'd like to hear your opinion in the comments. For the NES, and including Famicom, Godzilla versus Kong 2, I'm gonna give it up to Godzilla on this one. Moving on to Game Boy Color. Oh man, how cool is that? This is a Game Boy Color game, and it looks like this. Is that crazy? Okay, so this is Donkey Kong Country. This might be the only Kong we're gonna get on the Game Boy Color. And this is what Donkey Kong Country looks like on the Game Boy Color. It's actually very, very, very impressive. Here's a quick side story about me and Donkey Kong Country. I'm not married to it. I think it's okay. It's a decent platformer. I know people are gung-ho about it. They love it. It was their first platformer they played. They love Donkey Kong Country, especially on the Super Nintendo. Couldn't get enough of it. And I played it, I'm like, I don't know, it just didn't feel the same. You know what I mean? I mean, it was good and it looked great. I loved the graphics they used, how they did that, but it's all right. In Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Color, very impressive for a Game Boy Color game. And it's a cool game. And if you like Donkey Kong Country, it's Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Color. That's about all you can say about that. All right, let's look at Godzilla on the Game Boy Color. Right, so there's that. Okay. Well, this is apparently based on the animated series, so it's Godzilla the series for your Game Boy Color. And this one plays a lot like the NES one, well, kind of. You're still side-scrolling, but you're always moving, and you have to aim your head, which will also shoot your fireballs, your projectiles. And you can also tail whip, but your tail whip doesn't really do you a whole lot of good in this game. So, no. What's more insane is they literally made a sequel to this Godzilla game. Let's check it out. Are you kidding me? It's the same thing. Well, that one's new. It's the same thing for a moment anyway. This is Godzilla the series Monster Wars. And again, kind of the same idea. At least you have an aim feature that's actually aiming where you're about to shoot. But other than that, and you can also start and stop and stuff. Other than that, it's about the same, and no. So when it comes to the Game Boy Color, Godzilla versus Kong, this time, gotta give it up to Kong, 100%. So on to the Game Boy Advance. These are some great games here, check these out. Starting off with Godzilla on the Game Boy Advance. Oh man, Way Forward. Way Forward makes nothing but great video games. And we have Godzilla Domination on this one. This one plays a lot like King of the Monsters, if you ever played King of the Monsters for Neo Geo, which is of course available on Super Nintendo and other platforms as well. So it looks a little bit like that. It actually more looks like that than plays like that, but it also kind of plays like that, because you can do your little special moves too. You can hold your button down to attack, you know, like to do like a stomp or a chomp. You have other little special moves you can do along the way too. Later levels you can, you know, it's more of a battle royale style, or it's like you and someone else, you know, versus another character and stuff like that too. So a lot of fighting in this one, a lot of fun. It happens to be Godzilla in a cartoony sense, but still Godzilla, and cool to see, all the same. Now Kong, well, they made 3 Kong games for the Game Boy Advance, believe it or not. There are 3 Kong games for the Game Boy Advance. The first one, King of Atlantis, you don't really play as Kong. In fact, you don't play as Kong at all. So I'm going to discredit this one, not going to worry about it. There is Kong, the 8th Wonder of the World. If you've never played this game, it's actually a really good game. It is a really, really... I wish they would have made this for Super Nintendo. If they made this game for Super Nintendo, it would have been a classic. But because it's on Game Boy Advance, and because the Game Boy Advance has 3 billion titles in their library, and it's hard to tell which one's which, or which ones are good. I mean, there's too many games to choose from. This game is one of the better ones. I mean, it's worth checking out, I think. The third one here is Kong, the Animated Series, from 2002. And this game, hey, guess what? You play as Kong. Nice. So it's a Kong platformer. It reminds me a little bit, remember that Pitfall game? Not Pitfall for the Atari 2600, but they kind of tried to bring it back for like Super Nintendo and stuff. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I think it's just because of like the jungle design is probably the only reason why I think that. In that retrospect, I think it would remind me of the first stage of X-Men for the Sega Genesis, but it doesn't. This game is Kong, and it's pretty decent as a platformer. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's I don't know. It's okay. I do like the big colors. I like the big graphics. Especially for a Game Boy Advance. It was nice to see, bright to see. It was pretty good. But again, Godzilla versus Kong, when it comes to the Game Boy Advance, this one, gotta give it back up to Godzilla, man. Something about that Battle Royale style fighting game, can't go wrong. Super Nintendo, shall we? So the Godzilla game for Super Nintendo is Super Godzilla, and I love this opening cinematic. Love the music. It actually uses the music that's, you know, familiar, but in a Super Nintendo sound synth style of sound. This game plays a little different. It's more about the cinematics and less about the gameplay, if that makes sense. So you see the top part, that's just for looks. That's just for graphics. The bottom part is kind of where you're looking, and you can go up, down, left, or right, smash through buildings. You'll see those little icons on there. Well, that can give you power-ups and things like that too. But you're trying to track down the other enemies to fight them, to defeat them. And I'm going to go straight here. Now, normally you're supposed to go around and pick up all the great items to prepare you for the battle, so I'm not going to last too long in this battle. But I do want to show you this battle because it looks really, really cool when you actually fight the monsters here. Interesting fighting style. You have to wait till your meter charges up, and that's when you get the most impact for your attack. And your attacks can be your tail whips, your punch for the most part, of course your radiation breath or whatever. And then the other enemy also has their attacks, which cuts to a very cool cutscene, especially for Super Nintendo, to show that you're doing some major damage, or you're getting some major damage done to you, all the same too. So Super Godzilla for the Super Nintendo looks cool, plays interesting, it's its own deal. Now, if the fighting style on this was the same as the fighting style on, say, Ultraman for the Super Nintendo, I would have liked this a lot more, but it was just kind of hard to get into. Kong for the Super Nintendo, I mean, we gotta go the obvious route, Donkey Kong Country, right? I mean, Donkey Kong Country is Donkey Kong Country. I was just talking about a little bit ago. We saw it for the Game Boy Color. That looked pretty cool. There is a Game Boy Classic version of it as well. Donkey Kong Land, they call that one, but it's basically the same style of game. But Donkey Kong Country, this was groundbreaking for its time. It was amazing to see. Decent platformer. I know a lot of people love this game. The music, the soundtrack is the best part about it. The graphics are great. The soundtrack is the best part about it, though. And yes, you play as Kong, but you also play as, like, you know, Diddy Kong in this one anyway. And I have trouble staying as one or the other, because I keep moving too fast, and I keep, you know, running into enemies that I don't quite see, or I can't jump in time or whatever. So, you know, I mean, come on, it's Donkey Kong Country. How can you go wrong? I have this outtake that I was contemplating showing you or not, but, I mean, you're my friend, so I'm going to show you anyway. So, I mean, it's really my own fault. But when I was playing Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Color, I died from the first enemy. Ugh. And not only that, when I played Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, I died from the first enemy. So there you go. So for the Super Nintendo, Super Godzilla, really awesome. Kong, Donkey Kong Country, I mean, come on, you can't go wrong there. Given the option of the two, gotta give it up to Donkey Kong Country. Super Godzilla, great in its own right, but you gotta go with Donkey Kong Country on this one. So it's kind of split down the middle. I got, you know, 2 for me personally for Godzilla, 2 for me personally for Kong. In the meantime, check out this video. Check that out right now because that's gonna be awesome. Oh, thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you real soon.